Hi everybody, welcome to another Monday Masters. Today's guest is Suzanne Weiss with Broward County. Looking forward to talking to her. So Suzanne, welcome again to Monday Masters. Glad to have you. I know you are in Broward County. Tell us a little bit about your role in Broward County.
Thank you. I'm a Broward County employee, and I'm with the Division of Environmental Protection and Growth Management, which is a great name. And then our department is Housing Finance and Community Redevelopment.
Okay.
And I
long title.
Yes, it is. And I'm specifically the section manager for home ownership and home repair.
Great.
And that is our specific target. We help people buy homes, and we help people that own homes repair their homes.
Fantastic. So there are many different programs out there for first-time home buyers, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to have you on the show, to be able to talk a lot about Broward County's programs. So tell us a little bit about how Broward County's first-time home buyer program works.
Well, first of all, we don't call it first-time home buyer program anymore.
Great.
Because you can have owned a home previously, but not in the prior 3 years.
Okay.
So let's say you owned a home 5 years ago, you sold it, you've been renting, you would be eligible for our program. And our program is up to $40,000 in most areas as a soft second mortgage, purchase assistance. It can be used for gap financing, buying down an interest rate, closing cost. It's a recorded mortgage. The term is 15 years. There's no payments due, 0% interest. And then at the end of living in the home for 15 years or using it as your primary residence, that mortgage goes away. It's satisfied. It's extinguished. It becomes a grant.
Fantastic.
You do need to qualify for first mortgage. And there are, believe it or not, there are some guidelines to the buyer. The buyer qualification, they have to be at or beneath 80% of the area median income.
So let's talk a little bit about the area of median income.
Okay.
There are specific areas within Broward County that have funds for buyers that are interested in purchasing a home. Okay.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about those areas and exactly what the AMI for maybe those areas may be, or is it just Broward County as a whole?
No, it is not for Broward County as a whole.
Okay.
Broward County actually has 31 municipalities or jurisdictions, and the larger cities that have a population of 50,000 people or more typically run their own program. They get the funds themselves and they manage the program themselves. Funds may be available in those cities, but the buyer or the loan officer or the realtor should contact that city directly. So the area that we handle is unincorporated Broward and generally smaller cities. Oakland Park, West Park, Wilton Manors, a variety of cities. So we have a list on our website, which is broward.org/housing. And so there's a list of cities that's available, where we have available funds. But in general, if somebody is interested, let's say in Pompano, which is a larger city, they run their own purchase assistance program. And you contact Pompano.
Okay.
The process is the following. The buyer needs to qualify for first mortgage.
So is it the suggestion then that the buyer definitely meet with their lender first?
Yes.
And the lender partners that you have, we happen to be one of them, but there's several other lender partners as well. So we'd want the first-time buyer or first-time homeowner to meet with the client, meet with us as a lender, get qualified based on their income, their debts, and etc., and then see if we can apply those funds to their financing. And then what would be the next step?
That's absolutely correct, Marc.
Great.
That is exactly the process. The loan officer then picks up the phone and calls us or writes to us and says, I have a buyer ready to go. They have a pre-approval. They're interested in Oakland Park. Let's give that as an example. They've identified a property or neighborhood. Do you have funds available? We'll say yes. We then do a soft reservation of funds for that client.
Okay.
And we put the client's name actually on a board with the loan officer's name. And then the client is now free to go in and put that property under contract and go under contract. Obviously, it will be subject to a mortgage approval and subject to receipt of the funds from the county.
Great.
But that would be written up in the sales contract. Within 2 to 3 weeks, we expect a package from the lender, not from the buyer, from the lender. And that package would include the 1003, which is the loan application, the 1008, the transmittal form, sales contract, appraisal, home inspection, a lot of goodies from the lender.
Right.
Then we get that package. We make sure that the loan, because your loan has to meet our guidelines also, can't be predatory, has to have a back ratio that doesn't exceed 45%, fixed rate mortgage. But once we get that package from the lender, look at the package, we call the buyer, we do a third-party income cert. We've already talked to the lender, we already know.
Exactly.
99%, based on the documents.
Right.
We know this is a legitimate buyer, and
Right.
this buyer's going to qualify. We'll do the third-party income certs. Generally, that takes us, after we start that process, about a week to 10 days.
Okay.
At which point then we say, yes, funds are available, yes, they're income eligible, and we get a closing disclosure. We actually get a check, prepare the check for the title company, send it to the title company, create the second mortgage documents to the title company. Our process is running streamlined at the same time
With the lender's process.
The lender's process.
Absolutely.
One other thing that buyer does need to do, besides getting the pre-approval from the lender, the buyer does need to take a class from a HUD-approved counseling agency.
Okay.
And we have on our website a list of those Broward HUD agencies. But if they took the class here in Miami-Dade County or perhaps Palm Beach County, also acceptable.
Great.
Generally, that class is, they get a certificate, it's good for 1 year.
Exactly. So the HUD certified counseling agencies that you work with are also agencies that are promoting these programs, promoting working with lenders, and teaching buyers how to prepare for that process. So we'll also provide some of that information as well, as far as some of the organizations that do that type of work. You described just a few minutes ago a long process, okay, for some.
Okay.
So the question is, how long does a process actually take from the time that we as a lender submit a package to you on behalf of the client? The clock will really start ticking with your process.
Right.
How long does it take? Because we have heard that some of the programs take far too long. Mm-hmm. You're looking at 90 days to hopefully close on a property. What have you seen lately has been your process and the time frame?
We really try and keep the whole process for us 30 days from receipt of the package.
Fantastic.
And can we go faster? Yes, we can. But when we get deluged with packages, which when our funds are released, we do get those, it can add time. The more complete the package is from the lender, the quicker we can move forward and on our process. And I will say, we have worked this process many, many years. I've come from the lending side
yes,
and
I know.
the counseling side
Yep.
and the real estate side. And I understand that if you have one bad deal that goes sideways, you're damaging your reputation. We work very diligently to push those deals through, the qualified deals through. And we've many times had checks sitting at the title company waiting for the first mortgage lender for a clear to close.
Close, right.
Once we make a commitment with those funds sit there. It's patient money.
Right.
We want to get that closing. We don't want to blow up deals. We want it to go to closing.
You want them to close. So thank you for that, because we've talked to many real estate agents and had transactions with many real estate agents as it relates to affordable housing. And there's a stigma out there that the programs do take long, as we just mentioned, but also that they don't work or they're running out of funds, right? So can you talk a little bit about your fiscal year,
right,
when there are funds, when funds run out, and how many deals do you think typically you may be able to fund in a given year?
So this is good through basically all of Florida. We get federal funds. It is truly an act of Congress. We get home or CDBG funds for our programs. Those are actually released as of October the 1st or announced, okay? So we know that the county's getting this much money.
Great.
And actually we only got the written notification from HUD a few days ago. So think about the fall. That's for the federal funds, but there's other steps that have to happen. Generally, the local jurisdiction has to say, yes, we're going to use these funds for the purchase assistance program or a home rehab program, or they actually have to declare what they're going to do with their funds. So that takes a little bit of time. And in general, you can expect to have funds announced or released, let's say right around late fall or the beginning of every year. There's also state funds called SHIP, State Housing Initiative Partnership. That year for the state is June the 30th. So those funds are released July the 1st.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the SHIP funds, although the governor has just said they're going to fully fund SHIP this year, we hope, with a budget, but unfortunately those funds have been used to balance our state budget for many, many years. So it's a diminishing pool of dollars.
Okay.
However, and again, there's a set aside of barrier-free special needs. There's some restraints on those SHIP funds. So for the county, we use almost all of our SHIP dollars for home repair needs. We use our home and CDBG funds generally for purchase assistance, some for home repair. So in general, in any jurisdiction, they should expect federal funds in October. Maybe those are released late in the year or the beginning of January.
Okay.
And then they, depending on how they use their SHIP funds, that's July, and a month or two thereafter they should release the funds.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Now, when do we run out? For us, it's first come, first served,
Super
first
basis.
qualified. Last year we released our funds actually for most programs in February, and as of May 22nd, that was the day, we
Right.
said we're not taking another deal. And it caused some gnashing of teeth, but again, anybody that we had made a reservation of funds, we funded those transactions. And that's perhaps where many realtors or people who are involved in the program go, I don't know when I'm going to get the money.
Right.
This is too arbitrary, capricious. Perhaps it is, and I wish it were clearer and fresher.
Right.
But we try and be, again, talk about our program as much as possible, let them know the timing, and then work directly with realtors, the listing agent, the seller,
Everybody
the
in
loan
communication.
officer. We talk to everybody.
Great.
We will, if there's a deal and there's a seller that's getting nervous or a listing agent that's getting concerned, we will talk directly to them and verify the funds are set aside or where we are on the program. Because we want transparency and clarity.
All the way through.
Absolutely.
And I do appreciate that because, the open communication is going to be key.
Right.
From the housing partners to the real estate agent to the lender and even the title company.
Right.
Do you require any inspections for the property?
We require that the homeowner do an inspection of the property with a Florida licensed inspector. We do not send out our own inspectors.
Okay.
If the house was built before 1978, if we're using federal funds, they also need to get a lead-based paint inspection from an from an inspector that has EPA certification.
Okay.
So there's a list that we can go, and we have that information available from the county website too.
Okay. And what makes your program successful from other programs, whether they be in Broward County or in Miami-Dade County? What is your success?
Well, we've heard we had 90 transactions in Broward County last year, and we closed them. If we had more money, we could have done more deals. I think we're all respectful of the client and the buyer to begin with.
Yes.
Because this is the biggest purchase they'll make in their life. We understand the whole process of loans and lending, and this whole process could be very fraught with scare for them. They've probably kicked tires and put contract offers out on 10 deals before they got to this one.
You're absolutely right.
And so we know we want to make this deal stick if it's a good one, and we want to move them forward. We believe an educated consumer is a better buyer. That's why the home buyer education class. We allow the buyer to use any lender that they would like. However, we do publish a list of those lenders who have participated in the transaction in the previous year. Of course, PRMG is one of our big lenders. Because knowing the timing and the process and the information sharing is very vital to getting this done. And again, we're mindful of the client and the consumer and the seller. We know that it's a very hard real estate market, so we want the deals to close.
Exactly. Okay. And the last question is, when do you think there's going to be, or are there going to be any other changes for 2020 as it relates to the Broward County market? What do you think is going to change?
We had a series of classes preparing our partners, the realtors, the housing counselors, and the lenders for the upcoming monies that we have. We have money available now for our smaller cities. We'll have money probably in January for Davie, Weston, Plantation. Margate will probably have money in March.
Okay.
And we'll have release of more funds for our program. We have up to 140% AMI for a beautiful city called Wilton Manors. We have money available today there.
I'm sorry, you mentioned Wilton Manors,
Right.
and talk a little bit about that particular sales price points
Right.
and the
Okay.
AMI for that, and
Thank you.
being able to still get the assistance.
There is a community, there's two communities actually. Wilton Manors has taken their own city funds. They're so committed to workforce housing. They've set aside their own city funds for
Fantastic.
purchase assistance. It's not federal, it's not state, it's city funds. And we're managing the program for them. They allow that area median income, the buyer's household income, to go up to 140%.
140%.
And to that end, we've done some pro formas. That would be a purchase of possibly $450,000 purchase price.
Fantastic.
Single family, townhome, condo, villa, all of these are eligible programs. Surprisingly, I think the buyers at that price point don't expect that there's a program available, and this is an excellent program. Hollywood, we'll be running a Hollywood program, purchase assistance. They'll allow up to 120 area median income for targeted areas. That will be available come January.
Okay.
So those are funds that we have available or coming soon. What we have heard, we're coming into an election year. I don't think from a real estate market we're going to see huge changes, or from your lending point of view, big changes. But we know the average price of a single family home in Broward County is $360,000.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get in there. And so I'd love to say we're going to have more money to provide assistance for more people. That would be my prayer and my goal for the new year.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Suzanne, for coming on. Truly appreciate it. And folks, we're going to be sharing the income eligibility chart when we talk about the 80% AMI and the 140% AMI, so that you'll be able to understand exactly what the incomes are and the requirements are. Looking forward to the next Monday Masters. Thank you again. Take care.